Welcome to Pario Magazine, where I chat with individuals who have a desire to create. Today, I'm joined by a content creator known for his coverage of wrestling and gaming, who has made the decision to rebrand and launch a brand new content creators collective known as the Hive. Welcome to Pario Magazine, Josh Robinson.
Hello, thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So we're here today to chat about your journey with content creation and the decision to build the Hive. Before we dive into that, though, do you want to give our audience a little intro as to who Josh is away from content creation?
Oh man, that's like a loaded question, isn't it? It's always like so funny when people ask questions like that. I'm like, how do I describe myself? Because to me, I'm just a person that just happens just to, you know what it's like, make content for whatever reason. But I'm just a pretty normal person. I like to think that I can be pretty goofy and stuff like that. Just like to see the lighter side of life. Life can be a little bit dark and depressing if you make it, but I just watch a lot of sport, watch a lot of wrestling, and make stupid videos. Pretty much.
Was that sort of where you discovered the passion for content creation? Just watching a bunch of stuff, you're like, hey, I'm going to give that a shot, see what I can do in the space?
To be completely honest, so I've been creating content now. Gosh, I think I started in like 2018. So what does that make it? Like 7 years, 8 years, whatever that is. You can do the math on that. But I live in a relatively small town, so there's just not a lot of people in my life that I can really talk about wrestling with. And that was where it all kind of
Mhm.
started. I was like, I have a lot of thoughts on wrestling. I had a Twitter account, so of course I thought I was the most, perfect wrestling fan in the world. So I was like, well, I better tell everybody about this. So I just started like making a podcast that nobody listened to, but it was just an outlet to kind of just talk and just see what happens. And then, fast forward a couple of years and the pandemic hit. And what else did you have to do? You couldn't have anyone to talk to. So I was like, let's just start making mass content. And that's how I just kind of got into it. It was just pure boredom, to be completely honest. And it just kind of fell in my lap. It wasn't something I like strived for. I know that some people probably like, oh, I worked, all these, and I'm like, it just kind of fell into my lap. And I've always just had like a natural, I guess you could say just, and I just naturally kind of always liked the camera. I don't have a problem with having attention on me. And I think that's a part of
Mhm.
just content I think everyone that makes content, or at least the ones that do it to a little bit more of an extent of like you or I or like other people, you have to kind of have a sense of like, I don't mind being the center of attention in a really self-centered weird way.
Yeah, the pandemic for me was the same sort of impetus of that's when I launched the Commentary Booth podcast. Up until then, I was just writing. And then
Mm,
at that point, I was like, I'm going to do this as well because I want to talk about the TV shows and the movies and everything that
mm,
was pretty much all we could do.
mm. Pandemic was well, I mean, listen, it was what it was. I take the pros and the cons from it because there's obviously a lot of negatives. I mean, it was a pandemic. Really didn't know what was going on in that time. But also, like, I take a lot of pros out of that time. There was a lot of self-growth and just a lot of like, I think that taught me, I mean, we're talking about it was 5 years ago now, which is wild to think about that we, went through it. But I think I take a lot of pros out of it because it just taught me a lot about myself, like what I can handle mentally, physically. And I mean, personal growth. I came out during the pandemic because I was like, well, everyone's inside, so I may as well tell people about this now. So it was just kind of like, yeah, the pandemic was weird, but it kind of lent into content because we didn't really have anything else to do. Like we were just like, well, if you're not, I mean, I worked through the pandemic. I was retail at that stage, but like it was just go to work, come home. So you're kind of like, well, I may as well just stream a lot more or whatever you're doing, just out of what else could you do? Like there was nothing to do.
Yeah, it was like the one way you could actually kind of connect with people outside of
Mm,
your house and family bubble.
that little bubble. I don't know what it was like. I mean, I won't dox our locations at all, but like I'm pretty certain we had different experiences. It's weird how this country worked of how different where you were. Like, everyone knows I live in the vicinity of Adelaide, and we were quote unquote pretty lucky. We didn't really have like we had lockdowns, but we didn't have like extended lockdowns like other places in this country. So
Mhm.
it is pretty weird how it was so different for everybody. But even in those times, still, like, I'm a little bit of a I suffer from, I know this is a buzzword to use now, but I suffer from a lot of anxiety. So mine was just like, go home, don't have any human contact with anybody, stay safe. Like, so that was my kind of mentality towards it. I was just a very, especially for the first like few months of it, you really didn't know what it was. So it was kind of like, am I going to die? Like, I didn't really know. So it was just kind of more so like, I'm just going to stick to myself and within that little bubble that you had of like family and stuff like that. Other than that, human contact was few and far between.
So then in terms of once you did go down this content creation path, was there anybody that you sort of looked at as favorites and inspirations, and how have those evolved over the years?
I don't want this to come across as cocky. I don't mean it as cocky or arrogant or anything like that. But I've always prided myself on doing things my own way. Like, I've always kind of, not out of like in a rebellious thing or anything, but people are always like, you shouldn't do this, you should stick to your niche, you should do this, you should, I've always been like, but why can't I do it this way? And it's worked for me this far. So I don't know if there's, I think there's things I take from everybody. I just, I've done a lot of, like, you've probably done a lot of chats with just people all over the world, just purely what you do. So like, you kind of take everything from every conversation that you have. And I'm like, oh, I like the way this person did this or this person did this. I've always prided myself on my personality to get through. I've never said that I'm the best at anything, because I'm not. I know that I'm not. But I've just prided myself on like, my personality gets me through what I bring to the table. So like, whether it's podcasts in the past or streaming on Twitch or making video, whatever it may be, even just making TikToks, I'm like, I just kind of do what I feel is best, and some works, some doesn't. I just kind of go with the flow of everything.
Yeah, like you might pull little bits and pieces from everyone, but you're not
Yeah.
mimicking a specific style of content.
That's pretty much been my MO the entire time I've done content. Is like, when I first got into it, was purely podcasts, and then kind of started streaming on Twitch to nobody. I mean, it is on Twitch. It takes a long time to get anyone to watch you, but like, I do remember having conversations with people like, if you're gonna do wrestling, only do wrestling, or if you're gonna do this,
Mhm.
only do this. And I'm like, but why? I'm a multi-layered human being. There's more to me than just one thing that I like. Like, if some people only want to watch this stuff that I make purely because they like football, then that's fine. But like, I'm a multi-layered person. So like, why can't I just, that can be my MO, is just like, I'm Josh. So like, you just kind of go along for the pick what you like, what you don't like, and I don't know, watch accordingly. I'm a very much like, throw stuff at a wall, see what sticks with content. So like, I'll try it. I'll give anything a go, purely just because the main focus here is that it's me, and it just goes across different things, which I know a lot of people will be like, "Ooh, that's dangerous world in content land," but hey, it's got me this far, so whatever.
I guess that has kind of led you down this path to create the Hive
Hmm.
and sort of transitioning your creative energy into kind of being an overseer of a bunch of different creators. What was the impetus for launching this content creation hub?
Yeah, so I've been a part of a few different hubs over the years. Like, I think a lot of people that know me know that I was a part of a lovely group called Love Wrestling for, oh gosh, like 2 or 3 years. It got me the opportunity to interview WWE talent when they come to Perth last year, and just a different creative outlet for me, just to kind of go down. I think a lot of people know me humorously. They like to have a laugh, which is, I mean, that's the best part of life, I think. But it got to show that I could make other things. I made other things within the wrestling space, with Love Wrestling, but I kind of like stepped away from that. You call me crazy, but like, after Perth and everything like that, I was like, man, I want to see what I can do, just me. Like, I want to see if I can do this on my own without like the backing of like a lot of incredible people, like Spencer Love. If people don't know who that is, they should. He's a very talented individual, very kind human being. And I was one of the first people he asked years ago when he launched Love Wrestling. He's just like, you have kind of free creative outlet to do whatever you want. And I was like, awesome. Let's see what I can do. Spent a few years there. And yeah, just after Perth and everything like that, I was like, what can I do on my own? And that's when I kind of stepped away. There was no plan for me in my brain of like, I want to create a hub. This was back in, oh gosh, I think I left like middle of last year. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to see. Maybe it was the end of me in content or whatever, but I was just like, I'm just going to see what I can do. And then late last year, I was like trying to figure out like, what media outlets do I want to work for? Like, who can I reach out to? Like, I've done work all over the time for different wrestling publications, mainly like Fightful. I've worked with them. I've worked with Love Wrestling, like I said. I've done just different things. And I was like, why don't I be the media outlet? Like, why can't I? And I had a few conversations with people who've been like, it's difficult and stuff. But that I've always kind of thrived in those kind of situations. I'm like, why can't I be that? And I mean, the idea kind of was around Christmas time, and it was like, what is this going to be? Is it going to be wrestling? Is it going to be sport? I don't really know. It just kind of evolved in many different ways. And then, yeah, it's just, I'm trying to taking a big gamble, and I've never been in charge of a lot of people. I've just never had the confidence, I guess, to be like, is my voice worth this? Like, am I capable of running a kind of content hub like this? And again, like you know, you're a part of it, but I'm pretty passionate, probably to a fault, but like I am pretty passionate about like I have big aspirations, and I think that's off-putting to some people, but I've just always kind of been like, when people ask why, I'm always that person that asks like, why not? Like, why can't it be me? Like, why can't it be these people? I think I've always just had that drive in me. And it's probably why I've been doing content for so long. I think a lot of people would probably tap out, being like, this is just isn't working, which is fair. I understand it. Content is a grind, and people that say content is easy, kiss my butt, because it's hard. It's very hard
Yep.
because it takes a lot of motivation. It takes a lot of times when you feel like no one is paying any attention to you, but those are the times where you got to kind of push through. And I think that's going to be this. It's like there's going to be a lot of ups and downs with the Hive, and there's going to be a lot of times where I'm like, I don't know if I've made the right choice, but I'm a very passionate individual, and I don't know, I just see a lot of visions, and yeah, call me insane. But yeah, it just kind of started from that, and then it's kind of evolved into what it's becoming, and it will continue to evolve and stuff like that. But I think the main preface of it was like, what can I do on my own, and why can't I be the media outlet that people come to? Like, I don't know, everyone
Yep.
starts somewhere.
And then sort of now that you've kind of had 6 months or so to kind of look at it and work it and massage it into what you want it to be, what is the direction you have ultimately settled on of this is what the Hive is going to be for this at least initial stage?
Yeah, and like I said before, kind of put the emphasis on like I think this will change over time, but I do want this just to be a place where people come to enjoy good content, whether it be in the sports world, whether it be wrestling, whether it be gaming, whatever it evolves into. I just want this to be a place where people like, I want to be in the conversation. I want the Hive to be in the conversation of like, that's where you get good podcasts, or that's where you get good Twitch streams, or that's where you get good written articles, whatever it may be. I just want us to be in the conversation for that, because I think there is a space. And again, probably people are probably like, what? You know, why don't you just stick to one niche? Like, why can't it just be wrestling, or why can't it just be whatever? I just want it to be kind of like a one-stop destination for people just to know where to go, or like they know they're going to get good quality content and people when they are reading the Hive or watching the Hive or listening, whatever it may be. I just want it to be that kind of one-stop shop, I guess you could say.
And then how did you go about sort of selecting the people that would collaborate or contribute to the Hive? Was it just finding people with that similar passion level as you?
Yes and no. It was, I think for me, I had obviously like I had like, you know, when I was developing this originally, like I was like, is it just going to be me that does kind of the content side of things? Like it kind of changed. I had conversations with different people. And then when I kind of decided that I'm like, I think I want to manage some people and like have some other voices on here, then the list started to come together. And it was just a combination of like people that I 100% was like, hey, I'm going to go after these people, see where they're at, see what they want to do. And then people coming to me as well, and kind of familiarizing myself with different voices and different people within the space. You know, it's crazy when you, for better or for worse, we live on the internet. Um, it can be a pretty horrible place, but it can be a great place because it gives you the voice. I mean, the whole world is your oyster, really. Like you have everyone in the world to pick from, in a sense. So like just getting to know different people and taking recommendations from people that I trust and people that I'm like, okay, I've got you in here and I've got you in here and I've got you in here. Like, who do you think? Like, I trust these people. Because at the end of the day, I want good people with the same kind of mindset that I do. Like, well, let's see where we can take this. Like, have fun and all that kind of stuff. But I want to see what it can become. So it was a combination of me reaching out to people, people reaching out to me, just kind of putting the feelers out as well to be like, what's this? Where are people's minds at? And also not being like, I mean this in the nicest way possible, not just taking people because they're available. Like being like, wait a minute,
Yep.
like what have I got content wise that, and it's still growing. It'll probably continue to grow for a little while. But just kind of getting in that mindset of, I want this to be good. I want this to be really, all in all, I want people to support one another. But yeah, just a combination of different things of whether I wanted them, they reached out to me, combination of both.
What would you say have been the biggest challenges or lessons you've taken from the process in this early stage?
I know this sounds really basic, but trust my gut. If something doesn't feel right, I think it's okay to trust that. I think my biggest problem is I sometimes have a tendency to think with my heart and not my head too. So like it's just finding the right balance too. And also I'm still learning how to be, I hate this word, but like quote unquote the boss. Like I need to
Mhm.
learn that you're doing decisions for the group of people and you're doing decisions not just that affect you, it now affects a whole group of people. I think I've got like 15 people or something at the time of recording. Um in this group and I've got to kind of manage them when they're coming to me for things and whatever. So I just got to trust my gut a little bit more. If something's not feeling right or if I feel like passionate about enough to be like, hey, this isn't working, I need to trust that a little bit more and not be so, I guess, scared for lack of a better term.
Is that like the biggest tip you have for other creators looking to sort of carve out their own niche in content creation as well?
Yeah, trust your gut. Like it's okay, and don't be afraid to fail. I have failed so many times. I think failure is it teaches you a lot about yourself because it teaches you a lot of motivation. Can you stand back up? Because when you fall over, it is. I know it sounds really corny, but like it is about getting up. But I think, yeah, just for me, it's like I I'm okay with things falling down if it doesn't work. Like, okay, try something else. Like, you won't know unless you try. Like, I try to not live life with too many regrets just in general, but like just see what sticks. If it doesn't, oh well, move on. Like I think that's the biggest thing
Mhm.
I've always learned.
Yeah, like the internet and everything moves so quickly. If something doesn't work, well, it's probably forgotten about in 2 weeks anyway, so you're fine.
Exactly. Like at the end of the day, like I mean this with the biggest kindness. No one cares about you in a sense. Like people live their lives and like just I wish I know it sounds like a Nike logo, but just do it. Like honestly, just do it. See what happens. As long as you're not hurting anyone, go for it. Give it a try.
If we look ahead to what's coming on the Hive, do you want to sort of explain what types of content there can be? You mentioned podcasts, Twitch streams, even written articles. What things are we looking to see on the group?
Yeah, so we've got different people. You can written articles are going to be a thing like blogs where like we got Bryn who's going to create a lot of like she's in the wrestling space but she has this own vibe about her kind of style of blog. It's less of like a review and more of just like sitting with her watching wrestling and she's just typing out what she's thinking. And I think that's really cool because I think a lot of written pieces in this day and age is hard to sell. People don't have a big attention span. People are used to TikToks that go for 30 seconds visually and everything like that. I think it's harder to sell a written article, but I think when they're different and when they're good, people will read it. And I think that's a big thing. But there's other written articles like gaming reviews we're going to have with Peggy. And then there's going to be sports things. Like I'm a big sports nerd. I love people that follow me on Twitter know that I love AFL. I love my Adelaide Crows. I will talk about them to the until I'm dead. So like I'm gonna have a lot of that kind of content on there. And we're still working through things like I'm sure you will probably talk about what you're gonna be doing and stuff like that. We live in that world where it is, and we're probably both pretty bad for this, but I watch TikToks a lot and my attention span is getting shorter and shorter. So
Mhm.
sometimes I need that fast thing. And but then there is going to be podcasts and stuff that are in a longer form, whether it is about wrestling or NBA. And then again, there's just going to be different things. Like I'm not putting a ceiling on what can and can't be on this platform, because I do truly think that people are multifaceted, and they we're a consumer of so many things. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
just because you like sport doesn't mean you can't like a movie. So like I'm like, well, why can't there just be a place where everything lives? And it will change. It might end up being just the sports. I don't know. But there's just, and then, for me, my side of things, I'm trying to take a little bit more of a back seat with kind of putting myself over, because it's really weird to be like, this is what I'm offering. But I've been a Twitch streamer for a long time. I love my Twitch streams. I think they're probably the things I put my least pressure on myself, because I'm just like, I don't care if 0 people are watching. I'm just having a good time playing games. I'm very much like not a pro gamer at all, but I have a damn good time. Like, I like just having a laugh. So they are going to live on the Hive now. And there is a little sense of like, I was Josh Robinson 00 for the entirety of my content life. And there is a little bit of sense of like a refresh and like a bit of a restart for me too, because I'm not using a stage name. My name is really Josh Robinson. And I think sometimes as you get a little bit older and as you live on the internet more and more, you're like, I'm using my government name here. And it is kind of nice to get away from that, just even if it is just meaning like on a written thing that just says my name. Like, it is kind of
Yeah.
nice. I think it gives you a little bit of a shield sometimes. I know that sounds really weird, but I just thought about it a lot recently. But yeah, because I'm a very, probably to a flaw, I'm a very open book when it comes to, I'll write anything. And I'll post any TikTok. But I think there is a little bit of like a mask that you can wear when you're behind a different name, and just a little bit of a restart for me too, because just at a personal level, things were starting to get a little bit boring. Like, I was like, I'm having fun. Like, it's not that I'm not having fun. It's not like I'm not having people watch, but like, what do I need that will change up a little bit? But I'm going to be streaming and just doing my own thing of different kinds of games. I'm a bit of a variety streamer. I'll play anything. I have played Dora the Explorer games before in the same week that I've played Grand Theft Auto. So I like to have fun on Twitch, but there's going to be a whole different lot of things. I mean, I don't want to miss out on anybody that's kind of, and I don't know what, when by the time this releases, I don't know what will be announced and what won't. I'm refraining from saying too much, but there's going to be a lot for everybody. I think there's going to be, a different flavor of ice cream for whatever you like.
Yeah, you mentioned sort of like getting rid of your name as the branding. I went through a similar thing when I initially started content creation. It was Jamie Ups Media, and then I've since switched it to the Pario magazine branding. And it is just a little bit of a like separation of
Mm.
life and work, which is always nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just looked around at what was initially, when I was just kind of like, it's just going to probably be wrestling because it's just what I know. I think I looked around, I'm like, what is working for people? What isn't? Where's my little spot? And I don't know, there is just, like you said, a separation between Josh. I'm still Josh, and I'm still like, it's not like I'm hiding anything or like, wearing a mask or anything like that. It's just, I don't know, there was a balance and just a little bit more like, you can find me on the Hive, as opposed to like, I'm Josh Robinson and you can find me everywhere, Josh Robinson. And it's just kind of like,
Mhm.
I don't know, it just, every day that you age, it's just, I'm not 20 anymore. And I'm just like, what is working here and what isn't? I know that probably doesn't make some sense to some people, but makes sense to me at least. And yeah, just a little bit of separation, I guess.
And like, if the hive does explode and become this bigger thing than you can step away and it can live on without your name directly front and center as well.
100% too, because again, I'm trying to, maybe not initially, just as we get, the wheels rolling, I'll probably be a little bit more content forward just to like get this thing started, as people kind of come in and leave and whatever it may be. And I think eventually I'm not going to step away from content completely, because that's just not me. But I think I'd like to be a bit more of like the manager side of things and just kind of manage people. I'm a little bit nervous, because it's my project. It's all me. I'm a one-man operation. Like, as you know, I'm doing everything. Like, people are helping me, of course, but like everything is just, I'm putting my whole self into this. So like, if this goes down, it's me. Like, I'm gonna let it burn I'm gonna try. You know what I mean? So I think there is a little bit of a part of me that's still like a little bit attached to it, and like, I don't know what I want yet. Like, people are, I understand people are very keen, and I'm just like, oh man, I just let me get this thing rolling, and then I'll kind of take off the leashes of myself and allow other people to kind of lead the way in certain areas. But I'm just putting a lot of trust into the people that I know that will deliver for me first, and then I'll kind of be like, all right, I'm because at the end of the day, if anyone does something wrong or like says anything, not that anyone going to win on our team, but you never know. It is on me. It's not on anybody else. So like my name is still very much attached to the Hive, but eventually I would like to just be a little bit more behind the scenes, I think.
And I guess with the diversity of content as well, it's you're not expecting people to come in and watch or read and consume every single
Mm,
piece of it. Pick and choose the things that interest you and the things that you like as well.
Well, 100%, because I know at least for the start, just because of what my outreach is on social media, at least on the X side of things and stuff, is wrestling. I understand that. I'm not oblivious to that. However, there's a lot of people that follow me in other places that don't even know I like wrestling because I don't talk about it on there. It's just TikTok and stuff. People don't follow me for wrestling. They follow me because, well, I'm a bit of an idiot. But like I know that there's just going to be different audiences for different things. There's some people that purely know me based on the fact that I post about football. And that's fine. I'm cool with that. I've had people follow me just because I post about the Toronto Raptors. And that's fine. But like it's just a matter of, yeah, like you said, I'm not expecting everyone to watch everything. Will there be people that watch everything? Maybe, but find what you like, because I'm truly going to try and make something for everybody. And I really honestly don't think there's enough media outlets that do that. They just stick to their niche, which is way smarter. I get it. It's way easier just to stick to one thing because you're going to kind of build it around that. But I want to be I want to be that group. I want us to be that group that's just like, there is something for everyone here. And let's just see what works, see what doesn't, and just try. It doesn't, it literally, it hurts nobody just to give it a go.
And then I'll be contributing as well with a little spin-off thing. It's just going to be like more social focused, nice short bite-sized interviews with basically like I do with Pario, kind of anyone from any space, whether it's sport, movies, wrestling, and just like finding out about their favorite movies and favorite TV shows and favorite foods and just weird little things like that. We're going to break it out and do little bite-sized clips over the course of a week, and then at the end you'll get the full thing as one big video, and that'll be called The Buzz.
Yeah, I've this like completely. When I first created really, I didn't know what it was for the longest time. This was an untitled thing. I was like, what can I? It was probably one of the hardest things, weirdly enough, that I had trouble with. I'm like, what can I call this? Like, I don't know what to call this. So, and then it just kind of came to me, and I was like, cool. And then it wasn't my initial plan to lean into the aesthetic of bees, but it just happened. And then everyone was like, oh, okay, cool. I'm like, all right, let's just lean into this. So everything has just become a hive,
Bee puns.
yeah, it's just bee puns, and I'm here for it. I mean, I'm a dad joke central, and I'm definitely not a dad, but like I love it. So I've just kind of lent into the aesthetic of bees, weirdly enough.
And you mentioned sort of you're known for wrestling coverage. WWE is set to come back to Perth in October. Is there the hope this time that you'll be able to go, instead of creating content for someone else, you'll be creating content under the Hive banner?
It is what I'm striving for the most. Like I'm trying so hard. I know deep down that I'm I hate talking like this because it sounds like I'm cocky, but I'm good enough for it. I also think it will happen. I'm kind of trying to manifest it as much as I can, just putting it out in the earth, and it will come back to you, I think. But I do think that I will get it, and I'm trying real damn hard. And I think there is a sense of motivation from me, and just kind of like prove it to myself that I can do it on my own. Cause I mean, golly gosh, it was so lovely to go as a part of Love Wrestling last year. It was like a bucket list thing. I've never been one that's an athlete, but I have always thought about like shining the light on athletes as an interviewer. It's just always something I wanted to do. It's like literally like a lifelong dream of mine to, I mean, wrestling has given me so much in my life. I think in a sense it was my first love. It was taught me a lot about life, weirdly enough. Like I've been watching wrestling since 2001, and these characters and these people were always larger than life. So it was just very big sense of accomplishment, personally, professionally, everything to go there. But I think there's almost a bigger sense this year to do it on my own, or at least as a part of a crew with the Hive, even if it's not necessarily me. I would like the Hive to be represented in some way. But I mean, at the end of the day, I know that I'm going to be in Perth. I've never gone to a SmackDown or a Raw in my life, like a lot of us in this country, because it's never been here. But like, I've never been in international shows, so just that alone is just like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, and whether I get media or not, the Hive will be represented in some way when I'm in Perth. So
Yep.
it's going to be a very exciting time. I mean, no offense to the city of Perth, but it's not my favorite place in Australia. It's just so far away from everything. And I mean, I live in Adelaide, so I can't talk too much. I mean, it's a boring place here, but it's just so far away, and it's so expensive. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
My poor bank
Yeah.
account, my pockets are dry by the time I get back.
Yep. I looked at going and I was like, oh, I could just go back to America for the same price.
It's ridiculous how expensive Perth is. For anyone that's listening to this outside of this country, Perth may as well be the Mars, because it's just, I don't understand how it's so far. It's the longest flight from anywhere in this country. I don't understand why. But whatever. Why can't it just be in Melbourne or Sydney? Like, it'd be so much easier, cheaper. I could drive there if I really wanted to. So, it is what it is. I'm not going to miss it. I think if I missed it, I would regret it, just because I had a blast last time when I went to Perth for Elimination Chamber. And, at the end of the day, I got to interview people and, got floor seats to a PLE. I mean, gosh, I went to the Super Showdown at the MCG in what,
Yep.
2019, 18, whenever the hell it was. And that was fun. But this was just like, I honestly, I don't even know how to describe it. That feeling when I got home after Perth last year was like, whoa. I mean, if I, never did it again, I've done it.
So as we close out our interview, where is the best place for people to support you and track this new creative journey moving forward?
You find me at @JoshRobinson_00. I think I'm pretty much that everywhere for my personal stuff. At the Hive_media is pretty much across the board for the Hive. But if you find me or find the Hive, you'll see my links or the Hive's links in anything. I think that's pretty much it. I'm on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. TikTok is the one place where I'm like, if you find me, good luck, because it's a mess over there. But that's probably the one thing where I'm just like, I'm going to film a video, and sometimes it's me sitting on the toilet, so that's fun. But the Hive it's coming, and it's scaring me because it's getting closer and closer. I'm like, ooh, this is happening. I feel very sorry for all the people that are in the group chat with me, because they're seeing my passion come out. I'm just a very determined 5'4" man. With probably the confidence of a 6'5" man, which is never great. But like, I'm very determined to make this a place where people know. I mean, the sky's the limit in my brain, at least.
Awesome. Alrighty. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me, and good luck with everything. We'll catch everyone over on the Hive.